Hi everyone, welcome to the virtual coffee break with Mark and Karina, episode 9. And today we're going to be talking about whether you can be successful by not selling on Amazon. So this is quite an interesting topic, and a topic we get asked a lot by those brands that maybe they're not already on Amazon, or they may have some presence, not really sure whether to continue. So I think it's going to be a really fun discussion on really our view on whether you can make it work without Amazon. So Mark, I'll throw that question out straight away. What is your view on, can you be successful by not selling on Amazon?
Yeah, good question. I think brands expect that when you've worked at Amazon like we have, that you're going to say, no, Amazon should be your main channel. When actually, I'm sure our clients would be quite surprised when we say, actually, it's about having a balanced approach or having a presence. So can you be successful and not be on Amazon or sell on Amazon? I would say long term, probably not. I'm probably more swayed to that way because in Amazon, you've got millions of users on a monthly basis visiting a website. And it's really about what do you want as a brand to achieve. So if you're about capturing data for yourself and controlling the entire process, then introducing your product on a marketplace like Amazon, you're losing a lot of that control. But the other thing is, if you really are a customer-centric business, then you probably do want to be on the most popular e-commerce channel, right? In some type of capacity.
Yeah, definitely. And I always say to brands, when you speak with a brand and they go, should I be on Amazon? I always go straight onto Amazon, type the brand name in, and my answer is, well, you're already on Amazon. And they're like, what? And sometimes they might realize, sometimes they don't even realize, but most of their products are actually already on Amazon, unless they have a really tight distribution. But if we're talking about some brands that are selling through distributors and have a wider distribution already, or selling to other retailers, then typically they're already on there. And so it's more a question of, do you want to control that? Or do you let these resellers and retailers, because the resellers and retailers are always going to find those niche, well, not necessarily niche opportunities, but gaps, I guess, in what products are being sold on Amazon.
And that's kickstarted a lot of people to actually take Amazon seriously when they've seen third-party sellers promoting their product, and they all of a sudden realize that, oh, wait a minute, we spend so much time trying to control the customer journey from our own D2C platform. All of a sudden, Joe Blogs Limited is now selling my product. They're sending my product in bubble wrap. They're sending it in pack sizes that we don't do, and that journey isn't where it wants to be. So they have to get involved, and then all of a sudden they actually see that, actually Amazon can be a pretty profitable marketplace for us. So I think that's a really interesting point. And to be honest, I mean, you'll remember this when you worked at Amazon, people were, particularly brands that were in retail, they were really nervous to come on board with Amazon, weren't they? Because they were worried about upsetting their other channels, right? Whereas now, particularly what we've seen over the last few months, the market share, the power that an online platform can have is become ever more important. So yeah, I mean, it's something we can talk about for hours, but in terms of like the key things to kind of highlight, is like, how do you want to use Amazon? Like if I was creating my own brand, I definitely would not put all my eggs in one basket and just rely on Amazon as a platform. But I would use it for convenience. I would use it as a place to drive reviews. And the way I would differ my offering would be that on my own website, I would offer added value that you couldn't get on Amazon. But if you're a customer and you are going to only buy on Amazon, then I want to make sure I get that sale regardless.
Yeah, completely. And you've mentioned a really good point about a place for reviews, is that Amazon is an online showroom, effectively. You find a product, you're in a store, you quickly check your phone, you just want to check, maybe you want to check the reviews, maybe there's something missing that you don't really know, or want to ask a question and you think that the content could be better on Amazon. So you naturally go there. And if you as a brand are in that store, but you're not on Amazon, then the customer's not going to be able to get the answer, and they might go to a competitor's product where they can get the answer. Or if you are on there, but you're not, it's a listing that's by a reseller, let's say, or a retailer that probably doesn't have used the assets and the content that you would use, then, you know, there's a question of brand representation. Now, I don't want to say that resellers don't necessarily put that at the forefront of their mind, but of course, a brand owner is going to know a lot more about the brand unless that reseller has a really good relationship and collaboration with that brand owner. So it's that whole showroom as well.
I mean, you're thinking like we're a few days away from Father's Day.
Yeah.
So take whiskey or whatever, like a gift like that. You may just use Amazon as a place to read reviews of that particular whiskey and then go into Asda, Tesco, Sainsbury's to actually buy it. So it's not really a question of whether, you know, can you not be on Amazon. It's more about how you're using Amazon. And I think that, again, it just comes back. It doesn't have to be a trade-off. It doesn't have to be one or the other. I actually think it's having both work in harmony, and you know, using your website to capture data to maybe offer additional experiences, but also giving the customer convenience and feeling safe that your brand is on Amazon. But I mean, one area that I definitely want to pick up is that there are large brands that, in terms of themselves, are moving away from Amazon. We've seen Nike doing that. You can buy Nike products on Amazon through other distributors, but Dyson is another one. Dyson big large e-commerce brand that doesn't sell on Amazon but sells in Currys, sells in other places. So, you know, there's a lot of big companies out there that actually think, nah, we're okay, we're making enough money without going on their platform. And
it's interesting
how that works.
Yeah, completely interesting, because I remember my days in vendor management where I was I remember going to the Dyson offices and them not wanting to work with us, and
That's right.
you know, and Nike and that, because you know, everyone thinks, oh, let's work with Amazon, but actually some of the bigger brands don't want to. When in the end, what happens is Amazon then purchase through distributors. Amazon will always try and find a way around that selection gap. And so you will go on Amazon, you'll be able to find those brands, but it's a question of then the representation. So, and we've had it where we've spoken to brands, and we even work with brands that actually don't sell on Amazon, but they own the content because they want to own that customer experience and optimize their listings, own all of that, but they're quite happy not to be selling. And we're seeing a lot of that these days, where more and more brands are like, well, we don't want to sell, our distributors are doing a good job, but we just want to own our content. There's other ways you can manage it.
Yeah, the Dyson one was a good example. When I was at Amazon, I managed home improvement, and my colleague, Dominic Weber, he was managing home category. And so I remember he was going to countless retail meetings where they were trying to bring Dyson, you know, into the business properly, and it's never moved anywhere. I don't know if things have changed, but you know, that was back in 2015 to 2017. But I suppose if you look at brands like Nike or Nike, however you say it, they, you know, for their latest products, you would have to go onto their website. They have really good stores. Actually, they have a really good customer experience. And I think maybe, and this would be good to flesh out as well, that brands, some particularly bigger brands, have been a little bit nervous about Amazon because they feel that the counterfeit thing could be a problem as well. But we've seen measures being stepped up around that, haven't we, from Amazon over the last kind of year or two?
Yeah, with the brand registry, Zero. But I mean, all of those programs that Amazon introduces, they help, but they're always self-service. And so they always require a lot of resource from the brand. But I think you raised an interesting point with Nike there, as in, you know, with the store and the website, is actually there is a point where you can have that point of differentiation, because at the end of the day, Amazon is a transactional website. That's, you know, and it's a transactional website with a very blanket approach across such a huge variety of categories. Whereas your website is going to be very focused on your brand, your product category. And so you can then customize that whole experience, and you can create a community. And so you can have both really, because there's always going to be a customer that wants to go on Amazon and go for that transactional. But you might also have a customer these days, more customers are getting into that community. They want to, you know, social media has brought that element of, you know, you want to believe, you've got to be passionate about the brand. You want to believe in the brand. You want to support it. And so more people are looking possibly at going to directly on the website as well. So I think dynamics are interesting as well, because they can always shift, you know, as well. So yeah, it's quite interesting. It's one of those topics, right? We could talk about for ages of whether or not, but it's very down to your business, your goals, what you're doing outside of Amazon, and then building the right plan around that.
What do you think of Amazon's improvement in the space over the last few years around building brand-led initiatives, around building communities, whether it's influencer programs, whether it's you'll need to remind me the name, is it Amazon Live? What's the kind of QVC version of Amazon?
Amazon Live
in the US predominantly, right? Around even brand stores. I mean, brand stores are very different from where they were a few years ago. So obviously there used to be that bigger discrepancy between the two, where you would have your own website, which was this great branded place where, you know, conversations could happen, and Amazon was very transactional. But actually, do you think there's a shift there in Amazon actually trying to almost replicate what your website's doing?
Yeah, I think Amazon's starting to realize that, and is starting to give brands more tools and supporting brands more, and giving them more tools to display a wider portfolio, to upsell, to cross-sell, to increase basket size. And so we're seeing that change. There's still the point of how the customer shops, and the customer automatic, a high percentage of those customers will just come onto Amazon and type in the search results what they're looking for, and then click on that. So it's then a question more about how, and we're seeing this, you know, with sponsored brands, and Amazon's making the odd changes, as in how can Amazon put that in front of the customer a lot more. Otherwise, you know, it's still a bit hidden, that brand experience within Amazon, unless you're using it as a tool for advertising.
Interestingly, I've actually over the years seen really nice brands use their own website just as a place of education, and then drive to not just Amazon but other marketplaces, typically Amazon and say eBay, which is an interesting strategy, because that's basically telling you that, look, the efficiency of these marketplaces is there, and we don't really want to have to implement a separate logistics model for our own website as well. So I've seen a few brands do that.
And I think that comes in, you know, with the whole infrastructure, and as I mentioned, the goals, as in, okay, what is your infrastructure? Because if that's not your strength, you're not really a direct to consumer business. Well, Amazon is, and you can't say that it isn't fantastic when it comes to convenience and the service that you get. So then it completely makes sense. And some businesses do that, you know, with the website, direct traffic to Amazon, and do it via associates links as well. And sort of, you know, can capitalize on that as well. So yeah, a lot, I guess, depends on the setup and what, you know, the business really wants to do and what their strengths are.
But you know, I just think I think brand owners, brand marketing teams are a little bit contradictory in terms of saying, oh, we're really customer focused, but we don't want to be on one of the biggest marketplaces in the world. Well, no, you're not, because what you're doing is you're putting your own views, whether it's around margin, you know, the finance director is telling you, don't want to go on Amazon, we're giving 20-30% away. Nah, I'm not interested in that. Where if you really are a customer focused business, you're going to be on as many channels as possible and try and control that. So I do think that's always a strange one, because you're like, it's almost a no-brainer from that perspective.
Yeah, completely. And then you could think, oh, well, and I've heard this often, oh, well, if they can't find it on Amazon, they'll come to our website. And will they? Or will they go to a competitor? Because they're already on Amazon. So unless they, you have some really unique product that no one else has, that they're dying to get, that they go onto Amazon, can't find it, so they'll go to your website. Otherwise, they'll be distracted by everything else that's in there. Because as soon as they type in, for example, your brand in search results, other products will appear that are probably trying to capitalize on the fact that you're not on Amazon, because brands know. And all of a sudden, bang, you've possibly lost that customer to the competition.
Yeah, and most brands are not unique. Most brands in their category are similar to other brands, but they just tell the story slightly differently, or they'll have a variation of the product. So, and like you say, I think you're spot on with that. Unless you have a unique product that there's nothing else like it, then really, you want to probably have a presence on there. And I think that it's just really how you use it. How do you use it? And what about, if you're a startup versus an existing company that's been running for many years? I mean, maybe this is another topic. When to use Amazon? Do I use it? Do I launch my own website and Amazon at the same time, or do I actually do one first and stagger the other one further down the line? That's also something to take into consideration.
Yeah, definitely. And as you say, it's down to your life cycle that you're at. And Amazon is a really good place if no one's ever heard of you, because building up a brand and building up awareness takes so much time that you can accelerate it by using Amazon's customer base that they already have. Although you still have your challenges on Amazon. Just because you sell on Amazon, you're probably on the 100th page or down the black hole at first anyway. But Amazon does have tools to help that. So it can definitely help. And you often feel that actually it's the dominant brands that are probably more, actually, we don't need Amazon. Yeah. Because they know that, they've got that brand loyalty, and that, will that customer, if they can't find their product on Amazon, will they go elsewhere? But then that's a dangerous game as well. You can get very complacent as a larger brand, thinking that you do have that brand loyalty, because brand loyalty, we've seen a shift in dynamics with all these emerging white labels. Where does brand loyalty still really exist as well?
Yeah, true. I don't really think it does. I think it does for a while, and then people just think, oh, actually, I'm going to try something new, because it all comes down to selection. Yeah. I'll give you an example. If I'm in McDonald's, I know what I like in McDonald's, right? I get the same thing, but I'm actually pretty well known for switching it up if something new comes onto the menu. And the same happens in e-commerce, where you'll be familiar with that brand, but then all of a sudden this new shiny exciting brand comes on. It's at a similar price, and actually I can get 20% off because I'm a new customer. I'm going to try that. And you go down the path of being their customer for a period of time, and the process happens again and again. Now, Amazon by nature drives competition. Yeah. It drives loyalty in terms of, oh, here's a subscribe and save program, but it actually really drives competition. That's why when you type in keywords, most of the above the fold placements are actually sponsored ads. They're not even organic listings anymore. And it's wanting to drive competition. So that's something you've got to take into consideration as well. And you want to better manage that process. So coming back to your point, I think in some way this is one of the most important things. If you decide not to take Amazon seriously, you can guarantee that if your brand is semi-well known, your competitors will jump on that and just take that traffic, convert, and be the winners out of it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think then, just to finish off, it's all about having a plan. You need, a strategy, even if you're not selling on Amazon, you still need an Amazon strategy, because you can't, it's the elephant in the room. You can't ignore Amazon. And it's just thinking about how you manage that in line with your overall goals.
Brilliant. Some wise words for this week's virtual coffee break.
A topic I really enjoy, and I do love it when we get asked that. It just brings back memories of the days when we were working with vendors and getting vendors on board in new categories, and then they'd say, well, we don't want to be on Amazon. I'd be like typing their brand in on the laptop in front of them, going, you're already there, and you can see their faces going, what? Who is this? And then,
Yeah, and we've all ordered brands. I remember ordering, this is really uninteresting, Velcro thinking I was ordering it from the brand, and I got this roll of Velcro that was just not even in a box. It was in bubble wrap and then put into a brown envelope. There was no official packaging. And that's probably, this is before I worked at Amazon. That's when I realized that actually this obviously isn't the brand that sold me this, because they wouldn't do that. So
definitely.
There's your life lesson. If you're buying Velcro, buy it from the official supplier.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for listening today, and we'd love to get your views as well. It's always good to know. I mean, this is a topic based on a lot of opinion and what we've seen from our experience. So if you've got any thoughts that you want to share, by all means message us or add a comment in our LinkedIn, on our LinkedIn page, The Virtual Coffee Break, or also on our YouTube channel as well. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our LinkedIn page. Thanks everyone.
Thanks. Bye.